afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from the host Imperial Dane, featuring today our 1 vs 1 on the Minsk Pocket map. Yes, indeed, Minsk Pocket. As the Soviets are rushing towards Minsk, the 210th Infantry Division lays its full weight to bear in an attempt to stop one of the panzer reinforcements on the way. Will Romeo, commanding the 15th Tank Corps, be able to break through? And we are seeing conscripts already on the way there. We are seeing an infantry company also swiftly up there for Fortune of the 212th. Yes, 212th. Anyways, Infantry Division. Sometimes with all those numbers it can be a bit tricky to remember. My apologies. And that's slightly always been one of my harder issues. Trust me, it took ages to, for example, tell the difference between Kesling and von Rundstedt. Sometimes these curious details get messed up in my head. I can remember the sort of important content, but the labels are trickier. Anyways, Grenadier squad up, quickly being followed up here by an MG42 from Fortune. He's going to play aggressively on this map, and this map is indeed a bit tricky, since it's rather compartmentalized. I mean, there's one there, and it's very difficult to rush troops from one to the other, meaning it can be very difficult to support each other in the different parts of the map, and that is definitely the tricky thing. In particular, if you also want some munitions to go along with that fuel. So that is indeed rather tricky, at least for the time being. But we are seeing, there we go, the MG42 out. We are seeing additional conscripts arriving there for Romeo, heading south. Of course, going for the fuel, but also rushing straight for the victory point as one of the first things he does. MG42 seems to be going on its very own path towards the left. So Fortune currently playing a very aggressive strategy, although he needs to be careful with that, in particular if the MG42 gets caught off guard, but apparently he feels confident that will not happen. Rushing straight for the munitions himself, so clearly he's planning something involving munitions, perhaps a lot of light machine guns, perhaps flamethrowers, perhaps a Flammenwerfer half-track, who knows. But there we go. Victory point being secured on the center. MG42 securing this point, acting as a bulwark against any Soviet advances up the left flank, which is not uncommon to see. So it's advancing up the right flank, and there we go. Munition secured. And oh, he actually packed it up. Both are moving away. That's sort of like, ach du lieber Soviets, I'd better pack up this heavy machine gewehr and move away. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Molotov here getting locked right through the window, lighting it on fire. The Pioneers are caught in an inferno and are forced to pull back, getting into a watchtower as Grenadiers rush in from another side to assist. Another Grenadier squad pushing up the center. Pioneers here getting blasted a bit from the watchtower. As the Grenadiers move in to hit them from the other angle, most likely. Of course, Romeo here trying to deny munitions too. Mr. Fortune, and there we go. Molotov block the Grenadiers, and of course it's a hard to pay attention to all these things again. That's where the Molotov displays its power. I mean, 1 minute of not quite being quick enough to get out of there, and you can easily end up losing quite a few men for 15 munitions. So again, slightly tricky thing there. Of course, one of the trickier things to manage as the Germans. And Grenadiers here getting absolutely overwhelmed by conscripts that are being pushed back. And we also know here that already Fortune has teched up very quickly. There's some sort of teching rush going on from his side as the Soviets are currently advancing across all flanks. MG42 also shifting up to cover another position. Grenadiers on the run. Bunker going up first though from Fortune. He is saying not immediately rushing for a half-track, ignoring everything else in the process, including Sena getting a medic bunker.
How does that look?
Which could actually delay getting the flame for half-track and actually delay him getting a full advantage against Romeo if that is indeed the case. So that's a bit curious. Or perhaps he's just setting up the bunker in good time. The good times bunker. Dun dun dun. Conscripts advancing up there, right hand side being secured by the Soviet Union. Common units seem to be forgotten by Romeo. Oh Romeo, where art thou? Map controls, Romeo. Something like that. But there we go. Leichtschützenpanzerwagen on the way. Conscripts here coming under fire from the Grenadiers. Grenadiers might want to move into cover, in Deckung. Conscripts moving up, and there we go. A Molotov. And there we go, conscripts are dropping lightly. Roaring up, interestingly enough. Not that it doesn't do actually anything that really helps them in combat, except help them move faster. At least from what I know and from what I've heard. But apparently Romeo just likes to go oorah. Which of course is also quite nice and dandy. Half-track moving up to support. Grenadiers are holding out, although a bit exposed. Conscript slowly advancing, taking losses. Heinz went down there. A shoemaker from Hamburg. And there we go, the half-track is on the way. Up to support. Not really effective though in the direct combat role, since the machine gun is pretty much for all intents and purposes currently useless. Which is a bit of a shame. Pioneers here might be getting the combat engineers, but then again, combat engineers have plenty of health. And rushing here for the fuel point, MG42 diligently watching over that. And there we go, one conscript squad pushed away. Opel Blitz on the way, so clearly rushing for resources, going assault support. But will he be able to fully utilize assault support here? Will Mr. Fortune be able to do that? And they're going to tank grenades, getting lobbed against the half-track. Another one. Opel Blitz can be seen in the distance. A later design, in fact, I believe, to sort of standardize German vehicle production, which was actually a problem for some time. Since in fact they had so many different trucks from so many different countries. It made logistics practically impossible. It made repairing and, well, basically keeping them maintained very, very ridiculously difficult. And they found out that very quickly, because they had to maintain French, Austrian, German, Polish, Czechoslovakian, whatever kinds of trucks. Which also make getting spare parts to the right place also very difficult. And that's the essence of logistics, getting the right things to the right place at the right time. Conscripts here getting cut down, and we are seeing her hit the dirt going on there from Romeo, making it very difficult, of course, for the Grenadiers to do anything against him. Also note, it stacks with cover. So if hitting the dirt in light cover, all of a sudden you get much, much tougher. And there we go, half-track went down. Again, ultimately didn't do much. That is something you need to be aware of. Its light machine gun is currently not worth much, which is definitely a shame. As while the company who's won really wasn't that much better either, at least it could, for example, suppress the enemy. So that is a slight shame. We are seeing the second one on the way. We're also seeing he's very close to the munitions. He's been spending absolutely nothing on it otherwise, using also the Opel Blitz to speed it up a bit. Heinz clearly, well, Friedrich here clearly wanting to murder someone by the looks of his eyes, sitting behind a truck. His wheels. Romeo trying to claw off the western half. Moving on here to secure the fuel now. Second half-track on the way, and finally getting the flame projectors. Troops reinforcing, but currently the Soviets are dominating most of the map. And we are seeing a swift move on to the support weapon company. Half-track moving up here. Pioneers popping in. And again, not really doing much damage, of course. As soon as the flame projectile upgrade comes, it suddenly becomes a lot more effective. But again, that's a 120 munition upgrade. And there we go. Cooked off the tank. Grenadiers encountering conscripts over there. One already sent, very much running away. Vet 22 conscripts, by the way, all ready for Romeo. MG42 advancing very boldly here. Ooh-rahing, getting a bit suppressed here though. Bit suppressed, half-track likely going to move in and see if it can't stop the Bolsheviks from making a full advance. Come on, Flammwagen. Oh dear, conscripts here flanking the MG42, sending it scurrying away. Pack on the way. Clearly expecting some sort of vehicular rush from Romeo in response to everything. Also being a bit cautious here against all of these conscripts. Of course, Romeo right of case senses that he's going to get hit by one, and so quickly retreats, not fencing, losing a huge slew of them in one very large barbecue. Romeo advancing, Fortune advancing across every front as swiftly as possible, of course going for the munitions points as well. And going straight for Romeo's fuel point, definitely a good move. We are seeing the Tank of E Battalion command up, we are seeing the pack advancing.
We have secured the sector. 222.
And of course we're seeing here that Romeo is doing what he can to secure as much fuel as possible now. Pack being shoved forwards. There we go, point secured. So there we go, cutting off resources, denying them. Need to keep moving here.
The HQ has been upgraded. Medium armor and rocket artillery is now available.
There we go. Well, apparently Fortune is not quite paying attention to that. And full-on assault here, all equipped with submachine guns. Popping over to Romeo, who has gone for guard survival. No, he's actually gone for conscript support. Largely the same, except your conscript can also now repair. We're just seeing the conscripts here getting absolutely murdered as they're advancing straight into the MG42 as the flame projector pours hot liquid something across the Molotov light, and the MG crew, of course, the half-track will quickly reinforce the losses there. And there we go, full-on assault from Romeo right there was foiled. Although, of course, he's quickly pulling up the right-hand flank. We're seeing that all of a sudden things has very swiftly changed. Although we're also seeing he's quite clearly planning his own game changer with the T-34-76. And, of course, right here, there's something, you know, Fortune is making a slight mistake. He's pointing in that direction, which is great, but he's not taking consideration of the flanks where an enemy tank can actually much more easily sneak in, considering his current position. He's going to be very much exposed, and he would actually need telemines to cover the flanks or something else to give him some time to react. Conscripts here, they're going to get burned up. And there we go. Staying at a safe range. Safe for himself, of course, not for the conscripts. Fortune burns away at the conscripts. And we see them lighting on fire. And of course now the pack has revealed itself, which again is something he needs to be careful of. There we go, into tank grenade on the half track. Advancing up here, veterans with the MG42. The conscripts keep pouring. Romeo apparently resorting to some very brutal tactics, pushing through the MG42 fire as men drop left and right. And a flamethrower tank bursts into flames. T-34 the reveals itself. Pack is pulling away, but it's too late now. He needs to quickly set up. Of course, all the trees also make it very difficult for it to be in a good user's position. So this is actually... oh dear. And there we go. One hit. But already the T-34 is behind it. There was nothing to support, no infantry with the Panzerfaust to try and limit the maneuverability of the tanks. Half-tank also there. Takes a hit. Veterans one for the pack. It could try and stun the T-34. But things are definitely looking a bit dicey at the moment. Another Opel Blitz up. So that's already 400 manpower being expended on trucks, not on combat troops. And there we go, the pack is decrewed and already getting cleared out. This really did not work out well for Fortune. And again, pack placement matters a lot. And there we go, pack is gone. Wrecked by the 15th Tank Corps, point being secured. We do see a support armor co-ops. Likely there will be a rush for Panzers. Of course, all the resource being secured here by the Opel Blitzers will likely lead towards that. This one needs to get out of there though. Hiding behind a house is not necessarily always the best idea. Since of course looking at the minimap, Romeo knows it is there somewhere. He just needs to find it. Or apparently he doesn't even care. Flampanzerwagen being upgraded. Only 7 kills so far actually. I mean, it's been taking a lot of nerfs, which can still be quite useful. Of course, it's not quite the kill machine as it previously was. And there we go, spotting the Opel Blitz. I mean, there was a nice trick hiding it behind the house, but ultimately, I mean, it's not going to last forever. I mean, eventually your opponent's actually going to come looking for it, in which case, you know, hiding behind a house is not the safest of tactics. Quick saving run here. Hurts a bit, but ultimately doesn't do much. And there we go, Panzerkampfwagen 4 moving in, getting awfully close to the T-34 though. Fortune, I think, putting a bit too much faith in his own fortunes, less in his opponent's competence. Apparently he could have been rammed right there. But the Panzer 4 manages to damage the engine, ensuring that the T-34 can't ram, and there we go. T-34 went down to a glorious Panzerkampfwagen 4. Sent in from the 7th Panzer Division to support. Alongside that Flampanzerwagen.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
Securing points there. Flank-Panzerwagen advancing up here, need to be careful though.
Yes, comrade.
And there we go, getting the anti-air package on the half-track.
Sector has been cut off.
Same for half-track moving up, and field gun on the way. Again, safe range for the half-track, safe range.
To grind some meat.
Panzer IV might want to move up to port, apply some additional pressure. Panzer Grenadiers arriving for fortune.
Under fire.
MG setting up. Panzer IV moving in to hit the west flank. That's good. And there we go, opening up. Half track burning away. Field gun getting within range. And there we go. Anti-tank grenade. Well done, well done, well coordinated. Half track down. Nicely done there. Playing patiently. MG42 getting a lot of kills. And there we go, infantry being pushed away, field gun moving up. And there's not a lot of infantry support, so they can't actually overwhelm the field gun and clear it out, which is a bit of a problem. And there we go, bombarding. MG42 needs to get away, and the Panzer IV needs to pull back too. But still, Fortune is holding out quite nicely. He's been able to leverage his firepower the correct ways and stopping up Romeo, who's largely been clumping up on the map, which is not necessarily how you want to do it. Another way, they've been working up quite nicely for Fortune.
Squad replenished.
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
Panzer IV pulling away. And Grenadier spot as well. Now a mortar out for Fortune. He could also try consider getting an officer to sort of work with his troops, boosting their combat prowess. Same with the Panzer IV, as he does provide a lot of bonuses with his ability. You're basically talking much increased rate of fire, but also accuracy. Other fun things. Panzer is here. Oh, the conscripts. We could see conscripts got lost for Romeo.
Under fire.
And there we go. Veteran 2 conscripts gunned down in the name of Das Reich. And another conscript squad. Huge losses inflicted right there on Romeo. But we are seeing the field gun moving up. Panzer IV doing what he can. He could try and pop smoke with the mortar covering the retreat. That would be, you know, really nice Fortune. But apparently decides against it. Orbital Blitz, you know, also needs to get away. Come on, Fortune, don't waste that manpower.
Enemy aircraft.
And another strafing run. Playing very boldly there. And there we go, the Orbital Blitz packs up and gets moving once more. T-34 arriving, Panzer IV also getting out of there. Luftwaffe doing what they can to slow down the Soviet advance. I do believe it's time for the mid-game analysis. Current situation, Romeo's been taking some nasty losses. Romeo basically hammered his way through with quite violent force, and there weren't really much in terms of traps or anything to slow down his opponent. Of course, he might have tried some mines, but I'm not entirely sure how much his munitions might have allowed that, but even a few S-mines could perhaps have done a few wonders. But currently things are rather falling apart everywhere. He's still got, of course, a chance to stop this. He's actually done a lot of damage to Romeo. All of a sudden, 2 conscript squads lost, including veteran ones. It's definitely not something that's just going to be lightly overcome. This field gun's not looking too great either. But he needs to build up some armor. He needs to push forwards and quickly overwhelm Romeo, perhaps hitting in the flanks, and perhaps use that mortar with a bit of good luck. He also needs to upgrade this one by now. I mean, now he can actually upgrade to a medic bunker. Otherwise, it's just wasted resources. For Romeo, it's about trying to minimize losses, currently not losing any more infantry squads, building up a sufficient force to overwhelm the other tanks, perhaps getting more tanks of his own, more field guns either could work, but of course also some replacement infantry at the moment would also be quite beneficial to Romeo. So there are a few considerations taken into hand here, and of course clearing out the flanks of any straggling Germans right here, for example, these Panzer Grenadiers would also prove to be a good idea. Let's see how Fortune will preserve his armoured might. I mean, that Panzer IV here is really currently his ace up his sleeve, and certainly there's a lot who think that Panzer IV is currently a bit too effective, but it's really the best option one has to go for at the moment. There we go, T-34 advancing. Moving in. Oh, ramming it! Oh dear, Panzer 4 almost gone. Veterans 1. Stuka moving in for a strafing run. And it gets shot down and... Oh my lord! It took out the field gun! Oh, goodness gracious! I can already imagine the pilot. Ach du Liebe! Tell my wife I always preferred Brunhilde! So yeah, that was definitely epic. Or suitably impressive anyways. Not every day you get to see that. Opel Blitz. Oh, he moved it up and now it's getting shot up. Another Panzer IV though has arrived. A second Panzerkampfwagen 4. The Panzer Division continues to provide. And the Panzer IV was in fact the most produced tank in the German army. Overall most produced armoured fighting unit, CoH2 goes to the Sturmgeschütz 3. But the Panzer IV was a close second. Very, very close second in fact. I mean we're talking a margin of about 100 Panzer IVs or something like that. And otherwise it would have been the most produced. So I mean that's a fun fact there. Conscripts versus the Panzer Grenadiers over here. Also looks like, oh there we go, I was about to say seems to be a bit slacking off on the hit the dirt. Half-track running a problem, Panzer IV advancing. Can Mr. Fortune follow up? And looks like the half-track might go down. Damaged engine. Destroyed engine. Oh dear, Panzer gunners were killed. Ow. That's definitely a huge loss right there for Fortune. Half-track in fact abandoned, and oh he decides to destroy it, not try and secure it. Which of course, considering the currency chain, of course, I mean, I'll just briefly pause for this one, just to explain to people, I mean, of course the whole recurring tank is the same as recurring weapon. Sometimes you want to do it, sometimes you don't want to. The question is, can I actually get something there in reasonable time and recover it, or should I just blow it up? I mean, that's always the question. Can I do it, or is there a chance it will fall back into the hands of my opponent? And if you think the chance of the opponent getting it rather than you is highest, destroy it. I mean, that's basically how it should go. Same with anti-tank guns and other weapons. If you don't think you can get it, wreck it. If you can, get it. I mean, even if this half-track could have been beneficial to Fortune, he could have used it to shoot down his opponent's infantry, he could use it to reinforce his infantry, it could very well help him support his advances. But clearly in this case, Fortune felt he could not support. Of course, he didn't know if there were any enemies nearby, but he felt, I cannot do this, thus I destroy it. Of course, that's the sort of thing you should be wondering. Can I reasonably hold this area and get it, or is this not going to work out for me? So in that case, that was a decision made here by Mr. Fortune. Panzer IV getting repaired. It's actually time to pop over to Fortune again. And the 212th Infantry Division. T-34 moving up. But that loss of a Panzer Gunner squad definitely hurt a lot. And again, he could do with upgrading this. I mean, his troops are actually quite low on health now. Of course, I suppose he's also just lacking in munitions, though again, the Opel Blitz do help a bit. Conscripts here running into a lot of problems. There's 2 Panzer IVs running forward, and I mean, 2 Panzer IVs is definitely quite a force. More field gun arriving for Romeo. And conscripts here proving to be quite a problem. Grenadiers also suffering. Mortars firing away. 2 killed so far and 1 friendly killed. You might see the conscripts here that go down to the retreat. No! Oh, get away. They get away. And a quick incendiary barrage called in the mortar. Clearly Romeo does not fancy a mortar. And there we go, another conscript squad lost. Romeo is suffering considerable infantry attrition. He's down to 2 squads of conscripts, in fact. So this is rather a bit of a razor's edge moment. If Fortune can overcome this force, he could pretty much win this. But if he's going to charge head on in, he might not make it. He also needs to get that MG42 out of there. What are you doing? Oh, he's actually charging head on in. No, 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 no. God im Himmel. He's trying to brute way his way through the field guns, which is pretty much how you don't want to do it. And there we go, ramming. Oh dear, oh dear, oh God. That was pretty much how he shouldn't have done it. And he lost his veterancy 2, very close to veterancy 3, MG42 as well. I would say Fortune, in fact, right at that moment he utterly blew it. And he might, in fact he will lose that Panzer IV, which is a huge shame. So there we go, ammunition cooked off. So that was a huge shame right there for Fortune. Definitely not the best armoured assault. At the very least, if he was going to attack head on, he should have popped some smoke to eliminate the range abilities of the field guns. Again, yes, I'm trying to promote use of smoke, and in this case that probably would have worked. Oh well. I suppose there's still a chance of pulling things back. I mean, he can easily get a Panzer IV more now, in which case he should do it. And there's also... Oh, Romeo's actually splitting up his field guns. If he got some more infantry right now, even gunning off to try and rush them, he could actually do it. Things are still in the balance. Can Fortune seize Fortune and actually seize upon it? Or will he remain passive? At this very decisive moment where Romeo has split up his remaining forces due to heavy infantry attrition. Oh dear. I really think Fortune is missing a lot of vital opportunities. Of course, also here using his conscript to repair that T-34. Well done there. Oh, floating so many resources. I think Fortune might be at the end of his tether. On officer. And training now 2 Grenadier squads all of a sudden. Not getting an additional Panzer IV. Still would like to see the officer. Blitzkrieging up here. Oh, crushing several of the conscripts. And of course forcing Romeo to pull back his assault right there as he's getting assaulted. Pioneers. Oh, very close here. Panzer IV though. Heavily damaged already. Needs to pull back. No, 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 no. Don't get front of the field gun. Getting rammed. He's still there. He's veterancy 2. But this is looking very bad. He needs to pull back and he needs something to cover it. Perhaps with smoke. Something. I've only built another Panzer IV already. Then he would have had it now to support this one. Oh dear Lord. This rather seems like Fortune is at the end just throwing things away. What a shame, what a shame. And there we go. I mean, so quickly with the conscripts and the common, he can just repair a T-34 and get it back into action. I mean, now it's just fallen all apart. Now he's getting the T-34, but of course now it's too late.
We are losing a sector. Enemy infantry is engaging us.
And yeah, he's ignoring the field gun here, which is going to blow up his orbital blitz.
The enemy has driven a wedge in our lines.
And his defense is completely falling apart right here. As he's trying to get every victory point, buy himself more time, but at the same time he's suffering considerable losses. Of course, also note how Romeo is constantly using his half-tech to, push his advances, ensure that he doesn't have to pull back for reinforcements. That's actually quite well played there by Romeo, in fact. A good consideration, a good use of the half-tank. Of course, that's always a purpose a half-tank serves. And of course, in this case, upgrading with the machine guns as well. Panzer's doing what they can here. Another Panzer IV arriving. And there we go. Oh, mortar got cleared up. Panzer IV on the T-34. Grenadiers running into problems. Panzer is here fighting also rather desperately. And a bundle grenade. Actually killing themselves and only 2 of the conscripts. And of course there is friendly fire, but still sad it ended up doing more damage to the Germans than the Russians. Grenadiers here need to get out of there. Oh dear, heavy losses to Fortune again.
Our brave infantry
He's getting quite reckless now, wasting a lot of units
enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
and completely overextending himself and rather ruining himself of any chance of actually recovering, and now he's going for the heavy Panzer Corps. It rather seems like he's not even trying anymore, which is a bit of a shame,
Enemy forces are securing our
as victory
territory.
points are ticking down and everything is just falling out of his grasp.
Panzer IV.
He just goes for all sorts of things.
Grenadiers reporting objective captured. We need orders.
Combat engineers coming under fire.
Sectors. Infantry contact.
There we go, down. Panzer IV going in against the field gun. Can it overcome it? Conscripts veterancy free nearby. Likely will get off an anti-tank grenade.
Train is damaged. We flew to
Bit of a... Oh, field gun cleared out. Rather close, that leaving behind the veterans free conscripts, but they also low in health. And immediately beginning to suffer the wrath of the Panzerkampfwagen 4. Molotov here. Oh, conscripts got wiped out. Another brutal set of losses to Romeo. T-34 moving in.
Secured. How can we help?
There we go, coming under fire. Might want to recruit that field gun, of course try, but even then, failing to turn the front ahead. Not going to help either. Panzerfaust. This is definitely not looking good. T-34. More Panzer grenadiers. Very low health veteran C2 conscripts. Hitting the dirt. Veterans E3. And there we go, he actually got the Veterans E3 conscripts. But now everything else is moving in. Shredding. Very close, very close. And again, I think that heavy Panzer Corps was the wrong building. It could have, you know, saved the fuel for some more Panzer IV. Even an Ostwind could have helped him now. Or Stuck for that matter.
Grenadiers rising in the ranks.
Rifle grenade there, doing a lot of damage to the conscripts. The rifle grenade is actually now considerably reliable and only costs 20 minutes. Of course, you can't use it close up, but still, a well-placed rifle grenade can actually do a lot of damage to the Soviets.
Yes?
Now, lots of Panzer grenadiers out for Fortune,
Pioneers ready for anything.
who's currently desperately trying to make his fortune.
Ready.
And these grenadiers need to get out of there. Down to one man.
Our opponents are seizing the sector.
And there we go, another Opel Blitz. Field gun might want to turn and fire at these conscripts. Again, he has nothing to cover it. It's all falling apart. Another half track.
Germany now holds the victory
And a
point.
T-34 letting loose on the Pioneers.
An infantry squad has been killed. Half track awaiting orders.
Einsatzbereit.
Recruiting the field gun, hoping to set an ambush perhaps. But of course the half track is going to move up and hit the flank. This is not quite working out for him.
Enemy has broken our supply line. Cargo trucks are now available. Requisition 1 to aid in resource production.
Half track with Panzergunners in it. Another orbital blitz.
We are down to 25 points. Do not
Looks like Mr. Fortune is very confident in final victory. T-34 abandoned. Panzergunners might want to get out of here. Get out, get out, get out. Schnell.
Taking Soviet fire.
T-34.
The
Panzergunners might
enemy's
cut
attempting to
down
steal
here.
our sector.
Oh dear, oh dear. But securing the point, here's another one is being lost.
Pack who is ready?
Getting rather tense at the end. Can Romeo somehow pull it off?
Panzer Grenadiers.
The enemy is
Fortune,
taking
Romeo
our
either way.
territory.
T-34 here, trying to escape.
Trying to engage.
And here we go, ooh-rahing up.
The sector can now be called in to boost resource production.
And there we go, anti-tank grenade, cooking it off.
The enemy has destroyed a panzer. The enemy
Another
is
T-34.
attempting to steal our sector. Fire!
And there we go, T-34 arrives. Barely any points left. And game over, just as Panzer IV was finally coming out again. So there you go, a brief little fight here on Minsk Pocket. We saw some really aggressive play, something that worked out. You know, the flamethrower half-track really caused some disarray for Romeo until he was able to stabilize the situation. We saw, at one position that Fortune really had gained the strength, but rather threw it all away on a frontal assault on a position with lots of field guns. And a T-34, which as you saw really didn't work out. He should have flanked or perhaps tried to bait them into something that was rather more to his favour rather than what he did there, which obviously resulted in Panzers being wasted. And then as the game got closer, he began making a really series of odd decisions, trying to go for the heavy Panzer Corps, which ultimately was wasted. And he could have gotten himself an earlier Panzer IV, against more of them, and tried to overwhelm his opponent that way, which could have resulted in a loss for Romeo. I mean, it was rather close for several sides. Sometimes Romeo rather played overly aggressively, lost a lot of conscript scores to the Panzer IVs because he was rather not intent on retreating in time several times there. Romeo perhaps displayed a slightly faulty unit preservation, but he also played very aggressively. He made good use of the T-34s, good use of his field guns, which was, quite nice to see. He also made good use of his opponent's weapons where he got a hold of them. For example, that MG42 really doing a lot of harm to Fortune's further plans. I mean, his doctrine choice certainly also worked out, and he certainly got full use of his conscripts that way as well. So, I mean, really nice play there, but he could perhaps have displayed some preservation better here and there, and perhaps a T-70 snug in to keep the flanks a bit clear of Germans might also worked out. But overall, nice fight, a lot of intense movement, including that Stuka crashing in to a field gun. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, want to subscribe, tell your friends. If you didn't, want to replay of your own, provide some feedback in the comments. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.